Three, two, one.
What's happening, Toku Nation, and welcome to a brand new video on the Kamen Rider Astro channel. And today we're going to be talking about adaptations because they're a thing, and I feel like I just want to talk about it right now because the idea kind of came to me. So since I've been gone for a couple weeks, it's like, yep, time to make a new video. Yep, that's what we're doing. It's kind of weird that this weird uploading schedule, because it's like I'm trying to get into a swing, but I don't know what my swing is yet, but hopefully I'll figure it out. But on to the topic of the actual video, adaptations. We all know that Sentai is adapted to Power Rangers over here in the West, and I live in America and I'm an American. I knew Power Rangers way before Sentai. And it was a bit of a shock to me that it wasn't actually its own thing. Well, most of the time it wasn't, since it used Sentai suits, monsters, and fights. But sometimes it uses the stories of the Sentai itself, and sometimes it doesn't, and it's a totally different thing. And the question becomes, which is it better to do? Is it better to create your own thing, or is it better to follow the Sentai? Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because there is some merit to doing both. Because there are times where adapting the story from the Sentai actually works out, like in Time Force for Time Ranger, Wild Force for Gal Ranger, and it's like Ninja Storm has elements of Hurricane Ranger in it, and Deca Ranger and SPD. That's pretty similar right there too. So yeah, it works for sometimes, and then there are times where it doesn't work. Like most, namely, it being Samurai, and it just doesn't work because Shinkenger is a lot more Japanese than a normal Sentai season, since it's reflecting on like samurais in Japanese, like lower first samurais themselves, and the whole having Jaden being named Jaden Shiba, but he's the whitest guy there, and that was just bad. It's bad. I don't dislike samurai. I find entertainment from that, just like a lot of other seasons of Power Rangers that people don't seem to like. But I do see that it doesn't really work that much. Now, yeah, it's true. But then there are the other times where we make our own story and it works. Like Dino Thunder is nothing like Aba Ranger, where the Aba Ranger being more about the dinosaur pals and the bond between humans and their mechs. Or mecha, technically. And then Dino Thunder is more about just dinosaurs and just Tommy like having to train these new Rangers into being like the Dino Thunder Rangers as we know them. And that's also another thing with like how anniversary seasons try to take inspiration from MMPR, but that's another discussion. So not just that, not even just Dino Thunder. RPM is a very big example with Sentai and Power Rangers being totally different, because Go Onger and RPM are totally different seasons, and that's fairly interesting since RPM was pitched as like this really dark and gritty, well, not dark and gritty, but like a more serious, a little darker kind of like Mad Max dystopian type Power Ranger season. And then Go Under is nothing like that. I mean, it has pollution plots, but that's probably as dark as it gets. I haven't seen Go Under, mind you, so I don't really have much of an opinion on that part. So, but yeah, it's like Go Under and RPM, totally different. Two completely different shows told in two very different ways. Now, where do I stand on this? Well, say it bluntly, I don't really care. Yeah, that's weird because it's like it's such a big topic to talk about, like how to do adaptations. But honestly, I don't really care. Like, it works when it works. It one way or another, it'll work to some degree or something. I just want a good show. Good shows are what's important. And if adapting the straight story works, then it works. If making your own thing works, that works too. And I think that making your own story, by the way, actually kind of could help the adaptation, because some parts of the Sentai may be, like, maybe just bad, according to the writers, and decide to, like, you know what, we're going to take that out, we're going to put this in. And that's a fairly interesting way to handle these things, because, like, making your own thing, that takes a little more time and a lot more money, but works wonders when it does. Like, Dino Thunder is a pretty good season of Power Rangers. I mean, RPM is regarded as one of the best seasons of Power Rangers, and, like, even Power Ranger seasons like In Space and Lost Galaxy that are totally different from the Sentai actually works there too. And they're regarded as some of the best seasons also. And then you go on the other side of the spectrum where adapting the season, like, from season story over to America actually works too, but that's a little less, like, used as much as, like, just doing your own thing. But like I said, it works. Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, and what did I say? SPD. Yeah, those are some of the best. Those are some pretty good seasons. Even, like, Time Force is, to some people, or is probably the best season of Power Rangers when it comes down to it. And then, like, there are seasons where you kind of mix it together. Like Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury is sort of like Geki Ranger with the whole animals and fighting styles and all of that. But then I feel like that it works both ways. It could work together, it could work separately. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. Good show is what matters. If the show is good, I won't really care for how they adapt it, story-wise or character-wise. If it's good, it's good. That's all I'm saying. That's kind of really in the middle there kind of view. It's like, if Hasbro do good with adapting Ryu Soldier to Dino Fury, then it's good. Not gonna complain. Nothing to complain about, honestly, unless the show isn't good, in my opinion at least, and I'm going to rant about it. And if we do end up getting a Kamen Rider adaptation sooner or later, hopefully we do. Again, my opinion. But if adapting the story works, then we'll just adapt the story, and if we do our own thing works, then we'll do our own thing. Some seasons, you don't really have to change anything for it to work. But it really depends on the creative team behind it that makes it work. Like, I'm pretty sure that In Space, theoretically, could have been a lot more like Mega Ranger, which is their Sentai counterparts, and it would still work. But they didn't. And that was because circumstances of those two shows being totally different. But it's like, I can't say this enough. I just don't care how they do it. Good show. I don't have any complaints. If it's a good show, it's like no complaints. Maybe nitpicks if I find parts that I don't like for both shows. And yeah, that's about it. That's my 2 cents on this argument. And my question to you, the viewer, is what do you think? How do you think that Power Rangers should adapt from Super Sentai Should they copy the story? Should they make their own thing? Or should they merge the two together and make something totally, make something new and also recognizable from the story perspective? And yeah, also leave comments on what my next video should be. I'm thinking about doing my build driver review and then maybe a few other sketches ideas and some seasons reviews. I've only seen so many shows, and I'm trying to find the motivation to keep watching some of them. But yeah, they're coming. Promise. Just hang on. I'll get to it. But with that being said, that's the end of the video, and I will see you guys next time.